Okay, now just looking at Dogecoin, we are currently in a little bit of red, currently sitting at 0.06 cents. However, it does look like we're about to cross back bullish on the daily MACD. So there's possible some more uptake in price coming very, very soon. We don't have much volume compared to some of the other cryptos in the market right now as well, I've noticed. But we'll certainly see what happens in the coming weeks. I think we'll get much more of a sense of where this particular coin is headed certainly in the coming days. Now, when I read my charts, I like to keep things as simple as possible. I know a lot of people like the flashy looking indicators, and that's all well and good. But for the most part, these indicators are lagging indicators. They tell you more about where the price was rather than where it's going. I like to primarily zoom in on the volume and also the candlesticks themselves. The candlesticks, the zones that we see are all zones that typically repeat. So all my lines here that I've drawn are zones, and we are going to at some point see all these zones touch and all these lines touch again. If we have a few green days, the general crypto market is in the green and everything's going up, then it's fair to say that, as I said before, we're going to see all these lines again. If we make it up here to around the 0.07, everything's green, the sentiment's good, crypto markets are all up, then chances are we're going to be touching here sooner or later, which is the 0.09, because that's where we've touched multiple times before. If we come up in this zone here and then all of a sudden things take a downturn, we break back below the 0.09, the whole crypto market's up in red, sentiment's low again. It's like people are thinking, oh, okay, we're looking for more of a downturn, the bottom's not quite in, we're going to come down and try to find a new bottom. Then chances are over the next couple of days after that happens, we're going to come back here and then come back here. So my point is that all these zones, they repeat. Okay, they repeat, and it's the best gauge as to where the price is going to be. And you need to look at it in conjunction to the rest of the markets, what the rest of the markets is saying, and what the general news is saying as well. So notice how I say zones as well, because when I'm looking for an entry or exit point into crypto, I don't try to call the exact top or the exact bottom, because for the most part, if you try to do that, you'll get wrecked. Whereas if you look at zones, you'll be much better off. For example, I don't want to buy in these two zones right here because it's more expensive. I would ideally like to buy in this zone down here. However, if I miss it, that's okay, because I can still buy in this zone, and it's cheap enough for me, because ultimately I see Doge going back to all-time high. I think there's enough going on with it for it to do so. I see it reaching 50 cents. 50 cents will give it a market cap of 66 billion. And if we're back up into a significant market cap for the whole of the crypto market, then 66 billion is really no big deal. For Dogecoin to reach $1 would give it a market cap of around 138 billion, which again, if what I think is going to happen in crypto, which is, we're going to be touching 8 trillion before anyone knows it, then again, a top 10 crypto at 138 billion market cap is not really that big a deal. It's something that we're pretty much very likely to see. To caveat that, there are certain cryptos that are heavily associated with one person who gets quite a lot of media attention. There are other cryptos in the market where we might know who the head honcho is, but they're not quite as in the public eye as certain other projects. So with the situation where there's one person that's really, the face, I guess you'd call it, of a project, it can go either way. They can pump the price with a tweet, but also we're at the risk of them being able to dump the price. And I'm not even talking about intentionally dump the price. I'm just talking about some kind of indiscretion, something that they might say. Perhaps the media takes against something they might say. We live in quite volatile, sensitive times, so you can never rule out anything like that happening. And that in itself can be quite dangerous to a crypto. So it's just a little bit of food for thought. Ultimately, I'm not worried about Dogecoin. I think it's actually going to do quite well in the coming year. But as I said, just food for thought. Sometimes it can be a blessing, sometimes it can be a curse. But I think Dogecoin is a good hold. Not financial advice, of course, but I think it's a good project to be involved in. I think it's going to see a major pump, and I think it's going in the right direction.